So, hi everyone. I'm Gilbert. I'm the Senior Case Manager in the Working Together program. It's a job search program from the Neil Squire Society, and I have a quick presentation, and it should only take a couple more minutes, and I'll take questions at the end if anyone has more, more questions about what we do. So, the Working Together program is a job search program that's designed to help people with disabilities prepare for, obtain, and maintain employment. So that could be anything from searching for your first job lead. It could be helping you kind of explore different career ideas, maybe helping you land your first interview. So we do a little bit of everything. Just broadly speaking, if you're not familiar with the Neil Squire Society, we're a Canadian national not-for-profit that mostly is involved with empowering Canadians with disabilities through the use of computer-based assistive technology, research and development, and various employment programs. So that's kind of where I am. A little bit about our history. I'll let everyone kind of read here at your own pace. But essentially the programs at Neil Squire all kind of started about the 1980s, 90s. And it kind of started with the tragic accident of Neil Squire. Not funny, but I get a lot of questions from potential clients asking who Neil Squire is, or if they could talk to Neil Squire. Getting a couple of those names mixed together. So Neil Squire is a real person, yes. He was a 20-year-old university student from the University of Victoria that got into a car accident. His uncle, an inventor, Bill Cameron, started up looking at using technologies to help Neil Squire communicate better with his friends, family, healthcare providers. And one thing led to another, and that kind of started the Neil Squire Society. Okay, so that's a little bit of history. There's definitely more on our website. So the area where I'm involved in is employment, but we also help with innovation, digital literacy, and assistive technology. Again, there's a little bit more on the website. I'm just going over it really quickly. On the innovation side, if you're interested, we have a program called Makers Making Change. Nope. It's not on this slide yet. But they do a lot of device building using 3D printers to basically hand make assistive technology for people with disabilities. Often it's much cheaper, more customizable than something you could buy off the shelf for more money. Oops. Digital literacy. We have a program called Computer Comforts that helps with computer tutoring. We also have a new program called Digital Jumpstart, also on the same idea. Yeah, there's definitely more information on our website, but they help with training people with disabilities how to use computers. So it could be like using basic office software like Office, or it could be something more detailed like using Dragon, using speech-to-text technology for the first time, improving your typing speed. And they also help with computer equipment. And this is kind of where I am. We have a couple of employment programs throughout Canada, but the one I'm at is called Working Together. And like I just kind of mentioned at the very top, we help people with disabilities find work and generally try to achieve their long-term goals for success. Okay, and assistive technology. In BC, we have a program called WorkBC ATS. They'll work along this line too. They make sure that you have the right assistive technology when you find work so that you don't re-injure yourself or cause greater pain when it comes to working. Okay, I'll kind of skip through this since I kind of introduced them already. Okay, So yeah, back to me, back to our program. So in BC, the program is called Working Together. Our aim is to help clients where they're at. So it could be you're fresh out of school. It could be that you're looking to re-enter the job force after a couple of years. Maybe you're semi-retired and you just want to pick up a part-time position. Yeah, we have clients with all those type of goals. So it's a pretty broad program. The biggest connection, of course, is that they all have disabilities. That's kind of our main focus, is to help people with disabilities. Yeah. In terms of offices, so I'm in the BC office, Burnaby. That's kind of our main headquarters here. In BC, we also have offices in Victoria and Penticton. Throughout Canada, we do have offices in Saskatchewan, Ontario, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. And we offer more or less the same program. There's some regional differences, but more or less it's the same program. Okay, just digging a little bit deeper what we do compared to maybe programs you've joined in the past, like WorkBC or yeah, WorkBC is kind of the biggest program in the Lower Mainland. Our program is a little bit more individualized based. So like I mentioned, we kind of take you where you're at and work with you to achieve your goals. We have some group workshops, but I would say the bulk of time that you're in our program, it's going to be one-on-one. So right now we're meeting one-on-one over Zoom or over the phone. And I do a lot of emails back and forth. So some things that are, you know, pretty much like a resume cover letter, I would probably use a combination of all three. So I might meet with you over Zoom to kind of get an idea what kind of work you're looking for, and also kind of edit your resume on the fly, just kind of showing you what I think, what might work, what might not work, and getting your feedback. I'll be sending resumes back and forth in terms of homework and drafts. And we might connect on the phone too, if it's like a quick meeting. So we're making do with COVID. Even though we're not really meeting clients indoors anymore, or in the office in this case, we're still kind of working with a lot of clients. And a lot of clients have found work in the last year, definitely. A lot of clients have found remote work during this last year. So that's actually one of the silver linings of COVID, is that people that were looking for remote work 2 years ago, we always kind of found that as like a little bit challenging because not every employer had that experience. But now in the last year, everyone's more or less had a crash course in remote work. So asking for that kind of accommodation isn't a big surprise anymore. Most employers have a system set up, what we've seen so far. And yeah, clients are finding work. So bottom line is people are still finding work. BC's economy is still pretty good. There are a couple sectors like hospitality tourism that are maybe not quite there yet, but hopefully with the vaccine rollout, that will change. But I'm kind of moving on to another topic. Yeah, in terms of workshops, we have workshops kind of tailored around what you would expect. I'll kind of jump on that slide here. So in terms of workshops, it is kind of what you would expect from a job search program. So we would cover things like resume writing, cover letter writing, mock interviews, career exploration, not always in the right order, like here. But again, it depends on what you're searching for. Workshops also include wellness for work. So we recognize that clients are all pretty different. So a lot of times, one person's challenge is different from everyone else's. So we do have workshops that are pretty flexible. So we might be talking about building up your confidence. We might be talking about how to maintain a healthy sleep schedule, how to manage chronic pain and self-management. I think the most popular workshop on this list would be disclosing your disability to an employer and making it a comfortable conversation for yourself. It should be in this list. I'm just kind of reading it now. Okay, might be on this slide. And then the last part of our workshops would be under job development. So this is, again, part to kind of our outreach to employers. So we have a wage subsidy program at Neil Squire working together. It kind of varies in length, but generally we would go talk to the employer, see what kind of challenges they have in terms of hiring someone. We would kind of check your resume and see if you have the right skills. Hopefully there's like, a pretty good overlap. Sometimes training is necessary, and to encourage that training or mentorship, we bring in the wage subsidy. So the wage subsidy is negotiated, client by client, employer by employer. But generally it does help a lot in terms of opening doors, especially with COVID. A lot of small businesses, not-for-profits have seen their revenues drop or their fundraising efforts not having the same effect. So that's a nice carrot we have in our program to grab the employer's attention and to kind of make opportunities work. I'll just jump back a couple of slides. Oh, too far. Okay, so that's kind of where I was before. And I just want to touch on suitable clients. To determine how you're eligible in the program, it is a little bit complicated. It's a little bit simpler now, but usually what I would say is you would just call Neil Squire, ask for me, ask for Patty, just ask for a little bit more information about our program. Generally, anyone with a disability is qualified to join our program. We would check for a few things, like if you're a Canadian citizen or if you have a work permit, things like that, that are more on the technical side. But we don't need any medical notes. We don't need to see any doctor's reports. So you tell me you have a disability and that's it. No other documentation is required. Maybe I want your resume, but that's about it. Again, eligible participants, there's been a little bit of an update here. So you do need to have a disability to join the Working Together program. You must be legally entitled to work in Canada. Oh, sorry. But this last requirement has been relaxed due to COVID. We could take clients that are on EI now, seeing that, a lot of fields are being affected by unemployment. Our funders has allowed us to kind of waive that for the time being. So that kind of opens up the program to almost everyone who's not working right now or working full-time. Yeah, just a little flow chart about how things go in our program. It's a little bit messy, but the key thing I kind of want to bring up here is essentially you would start by calling us, simple enough. We would usually do a quick phone screening to see if we're the right program for you. If you're looking for something like going back to school for like a master's level program, or, you want to go for like a BA or skills training, we might send you elsewhere because there are better resources than Working Together for that type of goal. But if you're purely job searching and you want our help, yeah, most clients could kind of go into the yes category. And then you would either work with me, our other case manager, or career facilitator. And we would just kind of go through the workshops and hopefully find you work. Okay, talked about that. Okay. I talked a little bit about this too, but I just want to emphasize again, it's very much case by case. employers usually ask us for quite a bit. So in terms of wage subsidies, we can be more generous than other programs. I usually like to say it's case by case, but it's not, I could say this. We usually start negotiations at 50%, and then we would kind of go from there. If there's like a bigger skills gap, or if there's like a bigger need from the employer, we might go up. Also with the length, that's also negotiable. And we definitely hope employers to keep you after the wage subsidy is over. Okay. Individualized approach. So again, our program is a little bit different than some programs out there, like WorkBC. We have group workshops, but those are kind of maybe 20% of the time you would spend at Squire working together. Most times it's one-on-one appointments. We would maybe set them day by day, week by week. And every day we kind of move forward a little bit. And that's kind of the individualized approach we take. So if your goal is to hunt for school programs, we can do that. If you want to switch 2 weeks later and you want to find like a part-time job, we can do that. So the schedule and your goals are completely up to you. And our support here is just, meant to get you going where you want to get going. So I'll maybe skim some of this and just get to my name. So I would probably just end here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. If you do want to get a hold of me to just kind of ask if our program's a good fit for yourself or maybe a friend or family member, my phone number is on the screen. My extension is 131. It is a little bit more complicated to get a hold of us during COVID because we are working from home. But if you do get my voicemail, leave a detailed message with your name, telephone number, and maybe even your email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Oh, sorry. And I just noticed a small typo here. So my email is gilberts@neosquire.ca, not com. So that's my mistake there. So thank you for your time. Do we have any questions?
We do. How many people have you helped with this program get employment so far?
I've been in this program for 5 years, so it's a little bit hard for me to guess. I could tell you maybe during the last year, because that's something that was on our mind. So March till March. So in the last year, I've personally helped about 10 people find work because I kind of recognize everyone's names. But overall in the program, I think we're probably in the 50s in the last year. Mind you, it's a small program, so it doesn't sound like a high number, but it's a small program.
It actually sounds like a great program. You get to focus on a person's individual needs rather than the whole, like WorkBC, even though WorkBC is an amazing program. For those that need more individualized support, this is a great program. I also have another question for you. You touched on the digital Jumpstart program versus computer comfort. What are the differences between those two? They seem very similar.
Mm-hmm. I might not be the best person to contact about that. The key notes I know about Digital Jumpstart is that it's a newer program. It was a pilot program and it's going to be restarting in the new fiscal. So April is kind of when they restart.
Mm-hmm. Who would you recommend for that program?
In terms of clients that they help, it could be anyone. If you need a computer, they're definitely the program to help. And if you just want to brush up on your computer skills or maybe even like learn some basic computer techniques, they do almost everything. I don't want to put a big target on them, like in terms of promising too much.
Of course.
But a lot of my clients are using their services to kind of brush up on things that they would need for working remotely, for example. So like how to develop a database, how to work with Microsoft Office, sending emails, sending attachments, using Zoom. Yeah. So very practical. And to be honest, like right now with remote work, these are all skills you need to be pretty on top of. It kind of makes life a lot easier to work at home remotely.
So here's another question from Facebook. What disabilities do you primarily work with?
We work with basically any type of disability. So it could be something as mild as like you have pain in your back, which is pretty common, all the way to like multiple disabilities. So you might have like a brain injury plus a learning disability plus you might have a walking impairment. So we've kind of seen a little bit of everything. Yeah. It's, again, very case by case. It depends on the goals too. So when we kind of see someone who's actually the more pressing question is like, what is the goal? Then we might be able to like recommend them to a different program. But in terms of disabilities, yeah, it's basically almost any disability. I can't think of any that would kind of rule you out of the program. I don't think we have any cases like that.
Oh, okay. So what got you started with Neil Squire? What's your background?
How far should I go?
Just a
I'm a
overview.
psychology major from UBC, go UBC. Always kind of wanted to help people either as like, what was it? Like a psychologist or a career coach or school counselor. So yeah, I started in this field about 11 years ago now, working with immigrants, working with youth. And for the last 5 years, I've been with Neil Squire, helping people with disabilities.
That's awesome. Anything you would like to say to our viewers before we end this Zoom call? Last minute thoughts?
Maybe, I would say maybe the last minute thought I have here is that, the economy is better than kind of what you kind of see in the news. There is definitely a lot of fields that are hiring right now. So it's not so much doom and gloom as it was like a year ago. So that's a lot of good news. And I know a little silver lining. I know there's lots of tragedy with, family members passing away.
Yeah.
But one of the silver linings is that a lot of employers are learning to be more adaptable, more accommodating, especially for remote work and accommodating for people with disabilities. So that is one good takeaway from the last year. I've been always kind of pointing to. Maybe I'll just end it on that thought.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Gilbert. And if anybody has any questions or would like to get involved with this program, his information is on this slide below, except his email address is gilberts@neilsquire.ca as opposed to .com. So make sure it's CA.
I have questions.
Oh, you have a question, Lena. Go for it.
I'm a person with a disability, and my problem is I have memory problem because I have a brain damage, and those are caused by I think brain damage. I also have a speed problem. That's why I cannot survive from my previous job. In this case, how, like in your program, how can you help me and how do you help me?
I think I got most of that. Okay. It's just a little bit soft on my side. I heard brain injury, memory problems. Did you say feeding too?
No, speed.
Speed, okay. So like, yeah, okay.
The speed both are caused by the brain damage. And I could not survive from my previous job due to these two problems. In this case, how does your program, how does the program help you to find a job?
Well, probably one of the first things we'll do is we'll do a one-on-one interview. Just kind of brainstorming, picking at the skills you have from your previous work experience. My number one goal is to make sure that everyone has like a realistic job that you can aim for. I might be able to kind of help give you suggestions in terms of the type of work you should apply for, and we'll work from there. We do have workshops. I should have maybe mentioned this part when I said workshops. I'll just go back a couple slides. These workshops here, they're actually really good because they are at your own pace. We teach these workshops on a platform called Moodle. So if you're processing things a little bit slower than like the regular person, that's fine. You could take these workshops as many times as you like. You could take it at the speed you like. And because we do a lot of things one-on-one, we could kind of slow down the program to make sure that you can, take on each topic. So that's our approach. Yeah, in terms of work, we could help you, again, identify careers that could still work with your skill set and your disability. When talking with employers, I always kind of, I'm pretty cautious in terms of what I talk about in terms of disability. So we would work together on developing a script, what you want to disclose, what kind of accommodations you need, what they should expect from you in terms of performance and what kind of mentorship you need. I think I used too many ands. And then there's always, the wage subsidy that helps. That tends to kind of even out the field when it comes to hiring. So during that probational period, they'll ideally kind of get to know you, get to know your pace of work. And after the wage subsidy, hopefully, again, you're set for a new career or a new position at least.
I applied in different institutes for help me to find a job. It's not easy. And I went to WorkBC. Right now, they sent me to specialized person.
Yeah.
That's the different institute. Those institutes is for helping people find a job. And it has been quite long, but it seems it doesn't work well. And it's been over 1 year. I still haven't got a job. So in my case, do you still can accept me or not?
Possibly. It sounds like what you're describing is WorkBC customized employment. So that is a little bit more one-on-one than the typical WorkBC service. I worked for WorkBC for a little bit, so I'm not the biggest expert in terms of their programming now. There's a lot of things we do similarly, like a lot of one-on-one appointments. The one thing that I would like to highlight in terms of the Working Together program is that we have a smaller program. So my caseload right now, I like to brag, is rather small. So I think I have about 6 people on my caseload. Sometimes at WorkBC, a case manager might have, I would say, at least 50 people, but I could be wrong there. But sometimes up to 100 clients. So in terms of individualized support, I think it's a little bit different here at Squire. But again, I've been out of the WorkBC world for 10 years, 6 years now, 7. So I can't really compare apples to oranges exactly here, but my key point is we could possibly offer more one-on-one support and move things a little bit faster.
Yeah, I know my case manager who is helping to find job, she told me that she has 20 clients.
Okay, 20 is good.
And also, I don't know why my case managers, they often quit their job, then always have the new case manager coming to help me. Then I don't know why they just keep changing. Then my situation does not have big change.
Yeah, I can't talk too much about another organization's turnover. Don't know. But yeah, it's in terms of Neil Squire and me, I've been here for 5 years. So in the last 5 years, yeah, I've gained a lot of experience just from doing the job. So having one person working with you day in, day out, I know is a pretty big advantage.
Okay, so can I send an email to you? Then would you like to take me to do some job search for me? That's my question.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, send me an email after today's meeting. I'll probably set up a time to talk with you in person off the, I guess, the Zoom recording, so that you can go in a little bit more detail about your situation privately.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I don't know what, because I couldn't open my video. That's why I can only use my
Oh, right.
I don't know why.
Okay, so maybe I'll just read you the telephone number. It's 604-473-9363. And I think Michelle could post it on Facebook and Zoom. Yeah.
I could.
So your phone number is 604-473-9363, extension 131.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Gilberts at newswire.ca. Okay, I got it.
Okay. I can also post that for you on Facebook, Lena, if you'd like. And I'm going to do that for the rest of our viewers as well.
Okay.
But this is also being recorded, Lena. So if you miss any information, you can go back and watch the recording as well.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes.
So in the Facebook, how can I get the information? I go to send a link or
you just go to ConnecTra, the ConnecTra Society Facebook, and it should be in the event feed. Okay. Okay. Does that answer your question, Lena?
Yes.
Okay. So if there's no more questions, I think we can end today's meeting. Thank you, Gilbert, again. And we look forward to hearing about WorkTogether and other programs you have in the future.